You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 362 of East favorite podcast. Jeremiah Morrell, executive video producer, audio engineer, Zach Burcham, I guess a new co-host, Bones Harcourt. 3 weeks in a row. You live here now.
I do.
Should I even check with you now or just assume that you're coming?
I'm just going to be here.
You're just going to be here. All right. We'll have to have a meeting. Zach won't be here next week, so we need you to produce the show.
Let's rock and roll, baby.
We got a producer. Sarah's going to do it. Zach looks confused already. Jesse Riddle, the hostile witness, is here. What are you got a dented can, man. What the hell is that?
It's probably...
That looks like it came out of... It went through a car crash on the way here.
I don't know.
It's still good.
It was in your fridge.
It's still good.
Yeah.
You're going to get botulism from whatever that is.
It's fine.
It's drinking a... That is dark.
Yeah, it's a dark lager. Dark Czech lager from Pax Virum.
All right.
It doesn't smell like botulism, but that's the problem with botulism is you never smell it.
And Liberty Defender Sean Rao is here. Hello. Welcome. So, what do we have planned today? We are... I told this in Patreon this morning. Or this morning. 20 minutes ago. This morning when I woke up, I thought it was going to be Zach and I, and now we got a full house. So I just kind of threw stuff to the wall, see what sticks, see what we get into. But I can guarantee you with this many independent thoughts and voices as Jesse leaves the table, it's just going to be a wandering show. But our goal is we're going to talk about the presidential thing a little bit. Did anybody actually watch the debate? Yes? No?
I did.
All right. Sean, I knew Sean did. Sean can't help himself. Jesse,
can't
absolutely
help.
not. Zach didn't. Bones, do you have any idea?
Not a chance.
Perfect. Can't wait for
Excellent.
your opinions. We're going to talk about Springfield, Ohio, because that launched into the news. And I've got a few thoughts on that and want the rest of the crowd. We're going to get some cat soup recipes from Jesse. And then we've got some sports to talk about at the end. And then whatever happens. Do you need help with your finger there, buddy?
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it.
This show's about our lives in rural Indiana. Here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you, other times we'll make you laugh. But hopefully you'll always learn something new. If you are a member of our Patreon, you got the show notes dropped into the special exclusive Facebook group earlier today, where you get all the links and all the details on what we are going to talk about. Did you guys all check the links? Click on them, read up?
No, but again, I was going to tell you, you've once again used really good paper.
You're welcome.
So,
This is my home cardstock.
I know. I think the last time I complimented your paper, and then I'm just like, this is
really
it is good.
premium,
It's nicer paper than I have at my house.
premium stuff. Well, thank the patrons for that. This is like Amazon Subscribe and Save. Comes to the house, and that's what we roll with. If you are a patron, you get 20 minutes of us eating beer, cheese, and just talking about the world. I believe that there was about 3 minutes of open mic at the beginning that Zach thinks is hilarious, and it's going to stay in.
Yeah, we did not talk about Connorsville at all.
No.
Negative.
No.
That's ironically, that's where I'm going to be next week when I come into the show.
Well, hope you don't get any diseases. If you want to know what that's all about, join patreon.com/BossHogOfLiberty at any level. You get that. But if you're at $50 or more a month, you get a special thank you at the top of every episode. Those are John Phillips over at Andy Moore Buick GMC in Fishers, Indiana, and Sports Corner and Varsity Outfitters. That's our boy Blake Reese. Does the embroidery for my work shirts and the Boss Hog shirts that I drag in here every day. Accidentally created an identity in the summertime with the PFGs, but we are getting close to flannel season. I don't know. Can I embroider a flannel? Would that look weird?
No,
Why not?
You can definitely embroider
You
flannels.
be you.
Most breweries that have flannels have them embroidered.
It's true. But this busy ass logo on flannel,
Well, it's very busy.
it's a busy.
Just have like your
Have
red and
Boss
black.
Hog put across the back of the
It's-
shoulders like Nick Cannon with his Mariah tattoo. There you go.
Do you want to make yourself sound any more like a 40-year-old man?
Yeah. I am who I am.
The kids don't know who Mariah Carey is or Nick Cannon.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah,
Nick Cannon. He has the soaps, right?
No, Nick Cannon's off. He was just hosting a show like 3 years ago. America's Got Talent. Yeah, he was hosting a show. Everybody knows who Mariah Carey is because of Christmas. All I want for Christmas is you.
That old lady. She's like, who the hell sings old Christmas tunes now? Bert Ives. She's the Bert Ives of this generation.
She is.
She's only here for Christmas. Have news that didn't even make the Patreon today. I put my news gathering hat on, and I communicated with County Commissioner Bobby Plummer, because I'm like, it's dry outside. Feel like this is the time of the year where they tell me when I go camping I can't use a fire. So I texted. I'm like, hey, are we looking at maybe not being allowed to have a fire anymore, like a countywide burn ban? Because as of this morning, 10 Indiana counties, no fires allowed. And
It's crispy outside.
Strawn had a open, like I-70 was burning in the median, and they had to bring a field truck out to put it out. So as of today, Henry County now has a burn ban until we don't know when.
Big government always doing their thing, right?
I know, though.
I don't know if I caused it or if they were going to do it and we just got the story first. But I was told by Commissioner Plummer today that there is one now until
I
we don't
know
know when.
our listeners are smarter than this, but for the love of God, people be smart. Because I got out of the car today at my kid's school, and you could tell that somebody had thrown like a lit cigarette just on the ground. And the grass around here is as brown and as crispy as, because we got a little shower, but not enough to do anything, like last Friday, I think. And that might be like the only precipitation we really had in about 3 or 4 weeks.
We got like 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, it was a quick passing shower, but it wasn't what we need. We need this tropical storm that might be talked about later in the show to like come through here for like 3 days and just soak us.
Yeah, I got back from our trip in Wisconsin, and I'm like, the top of the grass kind of needs cut because some of it went to seed, but there was a good portion of it that just didn't need anything at all. I finally cut my grass Sunday, and it was just a dust cloud going around.
Yeah.
But my neighbor had been on a cruise for like 2 weeks, so he cut his grass. So then I was bullied into
pressure.
it. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Push over.
If he had left it, I would have left mine, but he didn't.
And that concludes the weather statements for Boss Hog of Liberty.
That's what's happening.
Jesse, if you'll open the hymnals to the presidential debate section.
The hymnals.
You are at this point a non-political man. You don't want to have anything to do with.
Yeah, don't try to judge. Don't try to assume my political leanings.
R/D.
R/D.
Those are your political pronouns.
Perfect.
Hi, Brian Nichols, watching at home from the airplane. Good to hear from you. Sean, you and I are the only ones. I polled the audience. You and I are the only ones that actually watched this.
Yes, I watched it.
2-hour debate, 2 commercials. Trump said it was 3 versus 1 because the moderators kept correcting the things he said wrong. Is that a fair result?
Well, I mean, it's like when somebody says the sky's red and then you say it's blue. No, it's blue. In those regards, they weren't correcting him on. No, you're incorrect on policy. This is what your policy should be, because he said he doesn't really have a plan. He has concepts of a plan to replace Obamacare. Or they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets. That was by far and away the highlight of the night for me, because Vice President Harris's reaction to that and him going all in, like he went all in on that. He was like, I'm going to get their attention. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets.
So he immediately went into
it was incredible.
They had an economic question to start the debate off, and he immediately went into, damn immigrants are ruining this country.
Well, immigration and the economy are going to be his stronger areas on paper, right? And so I get why he wanted to go in those directions. But the execution had something to be left desired, to say the least. And the thing I was interested in is seeing Vice President Harris sort of cross-examine, for lack of a better term, former President Trump, and just the way she could bait him about the crowd sizes, about his ego, about all those things. That was really, I think that's what I would do as an attorney if I were debating somebody like that.
You would try to get him to react.
Yeah, you want to get him to react. You want to get him in his feels. You want to get that moving, because if you're weaker on these other issues, which a reasonable person could say the Democrats are weaker on the economy or are weaker on the immigration issue, you want to try to get him to look unhinged, which is, she was successful in that. regard.
She said that she wanted to challenge folks to actually attend one of his rallies.
Yeah, she encouraged people to go to his rallies,
But
which I thought was a great touch.
if you go, you will find yourself to get that people are getting tired of being there. It's exhausting, and they leave early, and that made him clutch his pearls.
He just lost his shit.
He spent 30 seconds talking about how he has the greatest political rallies in the history of the world.
Mhm.
Not kidding. And nobody's even at her rallies.
Yeah,
or they're paid,
rallies,
or they're paid to be there.
or they're paid to be there, or maybe they're transgendered immigrants that are there and they're eating dogs and cats. Like, it's just from a rational person's perspective, like, one of those people was a rational person on the stage.
CNN had a flash poll, which is from this company called SSRS Redefining Research, and they did on the night of, they sampled 605 voters as to what they thought, who won, whatever. And from that poll, 63% of voters said that Vice President Harris beat former President Trump to 37% of the two people on the stage.
That's a CNN poll.
So now it's 1 versus 4.
1 versus 4.
Yeah.
You're blaming me?
No. Trump versus the moderator.
Versus CNN plus the two moderators. So the big takeaway that everybody was talking about, and I think this is the one thing I posted on social media, was that finally we're talking about these missing pets in Ohio.
Yep. The dogs, the cats, the pets.
So he's talking, he just says Springfield. He doesn't say, Springfield is this town in The Simpsons as far as most of America is concerned.
It's one of the most popular city names around the
Many Springfields.
Yeah, there are many Springfields.
Springfield, Illinois, capital of Illinois. Springfield, Ohio is the town that is in question. They are 90 miles east of us, so they're basically on I-70 between Dayton and Columbus. Hour and a half away. Super easy to get there. Town I've been to many times, and I imagine a lot of you have at least passed through.
Seen the sign.
Birthplace of 4-H. Rural community, right?
Explains why they're eating all the pets.
You'd think they'd defend their cats and dogs.
I'm just picturing
Not
the
when you have a
McLaughlin
surplus.
commercial now.
So
Can we also clarify? Was there not statements that they were eating geese?
So that's also come out now. The former President Trump never said that, but there are people that are saying that, hey, the former president made the statement that cats and dogs are being eaten.
Sure.
Legitimately said that
Yep.
by Haitian immigrants. It was not on my radar that there was a massive Haitian influx in Springfield, Ohio, but that's true. That's happened. But he says that they're eating the cats and dogs. Immediately, apparently this has been a thing. J.D. Vance made the statement a couple days earlier. The
The
vice
guy that
presidential
fucks
candidate,
couches, yeah.
allegedly.
And he pretends he's from there, even though he's Yale graduate. And
So
worked in Silicon Valley. But yeah, he pretends he's from Ohio.
I'm going to try to get this part out.
Continue.
So
Good luck.
But he does fuck couches.
Allegedly.
You said that.
this is,
not me.
these are your facts. You have to support them.
People are saying
I want to try to be serious for just a moment as we talk about missing cats and dogs.
Okay.
So the president said, "Hey, cats and dogs are missing." Immediately, David Muir, the moderator, says, "We called the town manager of Springfield today, unsubstantiated. We don't think it's happening." Trump, it's fucking happening. That's immediately. He's like, "No, it's really the deal."
Trump said, "I saw a man say about
was
it.
on TV.
Talk about it on TV."
Yeah.
That was his actual verbatim response. I saw a man talk about it on TV. Well, I turned on the History Channel. I watched people talk about Bigfoot too, but I mean, I don't believe them necessarily. They see Bigfoot just because they say so. It's not even dog whistle racism. It's just actual racism. It's just like the immigrants are going to come here and eat your pets and destroy your civilization.
I was going to say, I know there is a large Haitian population in Washington, Indiana as well. So if they want to do research there, they can. I'll tell you, my uncle and aunt's dog is safe.
If they are eating Canadian geese, I think we need to double the amount.
Exactly. That it was so.
Yeah,
Thank
for
God.
it.
That's what I was trying to get at because I haven't heard this joke yet. But I was like, if people are eating Canadian geese, full bore, full to the metal, bring them in. Let's get it taken care of, and we'll send them back home.
That-
I will buy him a grill.
Just from a
Swap
personal
recipes, baby.
Yeah,
personal anecdote, there were Asian foreign exchange students that were alleged to have hunted Canadian geese at Taylor when I was there. So and they just basically said you can't do that. Or
The Indiana DNR sells
own
permits for hunting geese, and I am fully planning this fall on applying for a permit and getting a posse and just going and wrecking geese.
Can you buy a permit and shellac it into your front license plate of your truck and just go aiming for them? You can buy
a permit and you're assigned a quarter of the park, and you and 4 buddies can go tear it up for the day.
We might be able to go to
for the day.
For one day.
For one day, you can just raise holy hell at Summit Lake, killing geese. Sean, how is that not the greatest?
Can you tell me which day it is so I can avoid taking my kids there? So I'm not getting hit by a stray bullet.
You don't want a gunfire and screams of geese.
I don't want Yosemite Sam and a bunch of death.
You don't want to be a part of the Boss Hog of Liberty goose hunting posse?
No, you guys let me know when the shooting's over.
I will actually join that posse.
Jesse's going to buy guns.
I'm a fisherman.
I have guns. Don't worry about it.
You haven't lived until you've seen Jeremiah out there with a goose call.
Yeah. Jeremiah has the boat. Jeremiah's drive is the commander of the admiral of the Navy. Jesse can have first mate responsibility.
Can we put a turret in your boat? Just duck call. Just
imagine somebody. Oh my gosh! Even if it wasn't real, just have one. And he's driving, and Jesse just sitting up 1 foot up next to the turret, just holding it
he's got on patrol.
I'll put my hair down for it.
He's got Fortunate Son playing in the background.
A couple beers.
So, Springfield, Illinois. I did the research today, guys. In 1970. And Sean, you're involved in community planning, I'm
involved
zoning.
I'm involved with
ordinances,
the county planning commission.
Yes.
So
you have a little bit. What we're going to talk about is kind of a subject area for you,
okay?
Even though you're not getting paid for it. But 1970, Springfield, Ohio, had 81,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the infrastructure for 81,000 people. A decade later, 72,000 people. 1990, 70,000. In 2000, when many of us graduated from high school, 65,000 people. 2010, they were down to 60,000. And in 2020, their census was 58,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2018, however, the town has picked up 15,000 legal Haitian immigrants that have moved to the community. So the town can take a shit ton of people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do have a community that drops in 15,000 folks that don't necessarily know the language, the customs, and they don't have driver's licenses or the ability to drive in the United States, it can be a strain for a community.
Sure.
So Trump was making a point that I think was done horrifically about they're eating your cats and dogs. But it's, if you want to make a point of, hey, we're bringing too many people in and it's straining rural communities, then that's a conversation I'm willing to have.
And that's neither the point that he nor his vice presidential candidate made.
Right.
They just stuck by their guns. Well, this is what's being reported. We got to look into it. And I understand that, we have to assimilate folks into the American lifestyle, including being able to be a legal driver. I represent people from foreign countries that drive illegally here. And
allegedly.
So, and convictedly because I represented them in court. And so there has to be a process there. I think everybody agrees with that. But just the sensationalism is so overtly racist. It's got to be rejected, and we have to look at how do we get these people involved in a legal basis to be part of these communities that they want to live in, they want to work in, and apparently there's enough jobs to support them because 15,000 people didn't pick off a map Springfield, Ohio. So there's a reason they're there.
There are employers, PBS. And once again, this is linked in the notes as well. PBS put together about a 9-minute special before the dogs and cats story came out, where they had gone to Springfield and interviewed folks, and they balanced it because there was a factory that said, "Hey, I've got 30 of these Haitians that are working here. We would love 30 more. They show up to work. They don't have drug problems. They're on time. They're here to work. They want to be here." So there's a huge demand for the labor.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I guess this last summer, somebody crossed the center line, hit a school bus, knocked a school bus over, killed an 11-year-old child. That's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
There's a balance that has to be there. But that happens with any population.
But there's a justice system that can prosecute that person, whether they're an immigrant or whether they're a United States citizen. And there are immigrants that prosecuted for crimes committed here, and they serve their time. And then after they're done, there's an ice hold, and then they're deported. So there's a process there. Just because somebody is involved in a a crime or perpetuates a crime doesn't impact the whole community there. There's a reason these people are there.
Yeah.
And it's because there's opportunity to work, because they want to work. And
you get a few key people there, and then they send word out to their friends and say, hey, come to this town in Ohio because we have opportunities here, right? You have 2 or 3 people that put down roots, and they are there legally, right? Like Haiti has had massive earthquakes. They've had government upheaval. I think their president got assassinated in 2021.
State. It's a failed state that they're living in. So it's like, do you want to live in hell, or do you want to live in, a place where there is opportunity? And, for as far as in the Western Hemisphere, I can't think of a place that's less stable than Haiti. Other than some of these other Central American states that
I was going to say,
run by cartels.
I think the Dominican Republic is having some issues.
That could also be an issue.
They're struggling. Any thoughts? You have connections to Washington, Indiana. And
well, I just was that's what I was looking up. Is that so? Davies County, which is where Washington, Indiana is, has the second largest Haitian population in Indiana, and the problem I think is definitely the integration. Right? They're probably living more to along to their culture and their ways of life. Not that they shouldn't keep some of that, but there is also when you come to a different foreign land where you have to like adopt the ways of the land for that country. Like I would never go to Japan and just start shitting over all their cultures, right? Like it's just a thing you have to do. And but I know it causes problems down there. And they also have like their own, which is weird. Like I remember growing up down there and there like was gang fights, gunfire, and I'm like, this is so weird.
Among Haitians or among?
No, this was kind of before the Haitian stuff, but there's a growing Hispanic population. It's also a highly has a large percentage of Amish. So you have like a ton of cultures like coming together. So it's an interesting place in Indiana, but the Spanish population is also pretty big down around there in Jasper and stuff. So
Bones, Adam.
Yep.
If Rushville, Indiana has perhaps a massive new dog food factory coming to town and needs a crap ton of laborers, and that company starts bringing in Haitian migrants to work there, how would a community like Rushville react and absolve? And say you drop 500 or 1,000 new residents into Rushville, a town of 7,000 people.
Maybe Rushville's not the best example, but
why?
It's still pretty small,
right? But I mean, you're going to have a massive employer that needs a workforce,
needs
right?
labor, yeah,
exactly.
But I mean, that's what happens when you drop a huge factory in that's going to need people, and maybe they end up moving to Carthage or Knightstown or wherever. But those are the type. I think that's what happened here. Is that there was an auto industry in Springfield, Ohio. It went away, and now you've got these axle manufacturers. That's where they're working, is in production.
Yeah.
I think this is a possibility for our communities as well.
I think so.
And that's why it got my attention of like, you laughed at it because dogs and cats allegedly are missing. Fine, whatever. But it did cause me to go, hang on, this is a real thing to think about for our town, and to make sure that to make sure we don't look like hilljack idiots when 1,000 people that don't look and talk like me show up and I act like, oh, no.
I really want to say that we're not going to be hilljack idiots. Unfortunately, I think that's going to come to
their Connorsville is going to be showing.
Ooh, yes.
I mean, what's going to happen is that they're going to see those jobs get filled by Haitians or whatever, some other fucking country. And I'm just saying, in general, it doesn't matter. They could be Germans, but they're going to like throw a fit that they aren't filling those jobs. And it's like, well, you weren't filling them. That's why they're here. And
well, if they're opposed to Germans, that's like really old school racism that goes way, way back. It's like no Irish apply. Like, dude, my head is a giant potato. I'm as Irish as it gets, and
that's what
I'm going to get a job.
Yeah, I'm trying to
say
the
immigrants that won't. But I think you're going to see more and more of this in the next decades with, if the situation in Central America, the Caribbean doesn't improve financially for those countries, And as the climate changes, you're going to see people just moving from hotter and hotter and wetter places to try to get to drier, cooler places. And
that's a hot take that we haven't explored. This is climate change's fault.
I don't think this is climate change now. I think it could be climate change in 20, 30 years, where it's just some of these places are so hot, it's uninhabitable. I mean, think about going to Las Vegas right now in the summertime. Like, nobody does that because it's way too hot. You just can't do it.
Cheap hotel rooms, stay in the
rooms, and you stay in air conditioning in a place that God never intended to exist, which is Las Vegas.
Swim in the pool, baby.
Swim in the pool, stay in the air conditioning. But really, like, it's not going to get any cooler. It's going to get hotter. And so between those combinations of economic changes, climate changes, increased disease and death and things like that, you're going to see more people fleeing from these areas unless the financial situation changes and they're able to stay there.
Zach, you have any thoughts?
I mean, also the thing about the climate change thing, it could also be they're getting hit by like nastier hurricanes, and like they don't have the government.
And once you're displaced, you're displaced.
Yeah, they don't have any. Like,
you,
they don't have
you can't get property
property
insurance in Florida now.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
It's like real estate insurance now in Florida.
If you're living in the States and you get hit by a hurricane, it takes years to rebuild.
Yep.
If you live in a country that has a shit government that's completely,
you're not getting it rebuilt.
You're never getting rebuilt
because your leadership will probably ask for foreign aid and then take it and put it in their pocket.
Yeah, well, again, that's what I'm saying. You have like these corrupt governments. Yeah, like they're just going to pocket the money.
I think,
and you're just.
I think the integration thing is like, I would love to know, like, okay, did they accuse? I had never heard like you hear stereotypes about cultures and their eating of what we consider domesticated animals. I never heard of that with Haitians.
Aaron Ewert.
That's a scary start to a sentence. Who
is a Haitian missionary in high school.
Yeah.
Okay. He speaks Creole. He knows his stuff. He has a bunch of Haitian buddies. I've been tagging. A lot of people have been tagging him, asking him. He's like, "Look, man, we used to make fun of them eating cats and dogs down there, which they do. That's not whatever." Yeah. And he says they would kill chickens for voodoo rituals too. That's just their religion, whatever. And he's like, "You people eat frogs. Like, stop it. Like, up here we eat frogs."
Oh yeah, up here we
yeah. So they're like, "What the fuck are you eating? You eat frogs."
And
so stop it.
Yeah. And don't forget that Obama made it illegal so that we could actually murder horses again for food. So
yeah, you used to have to go to Canada to get a good horse tenderloin.
Exactly, but Obama made.
I think if a horse was dying, now you can do it. It's like the Kevorkian horse thing.
I don't know when it happened, but Obama was like, "Look,
like fresh steaks right after the horse breaks its leg on the track.
Yeah, you can eat all the horse you want." No, I still have never been able to eat a horse. Of course. But
Bones, you used to own horses. Any you wanted to eat after it was over?
No.
Nope. I go back to that blueberry cheese.
And I think it would complement a nice horse leg very well. But yeah, anyway, I was just saying, like, every culture has their weird eating habits. Eating frogs to me is disgusting, but I've eaten alligator and it's
I would
still
think
amphibious.
Frog, living in alligator.
If you have an influx, you're gonna have some like kind of weird things, and they're probably gonna set up kind of their own community and deal with their own cultures and stuff. And then gradually over the next 5, 10, 15 years, they're going to blend. I don't think you can force it in the first couple of years. You just got to let them get established. But
to be clear, there's no credible reports of cat or dog eating.
Well, I do wonder, like, was there any
just comes out of
this,
that,
or did they just stereotype and said, "I bet they got cats and dogs disappeared over there"?
Cats and dogs are missing in every community.
Again, it's the whole Trump thing. He's like, I saw a man say it on TV. He is the prototypical boomer that's going to say someone said it on TV that matched my preconceived notions about these people.
Right.
And so this is what reality is. Because it was on TV.
Yeah.
I think there was a lady in Canton, a mentally ill lady, got arrested for eating a cat.
But she was from Canton.
Yes.
Well, she was mentally ill.
The state.
And which is like 2.5 hours away.
If not more.
Yeah. And she was black, so I guess that part checked the box. Where do you get?
Yeah. He lost.
They're taking like weird things that aren't really connected and then trying to force them together because it scares people, because it's like, oh, look, foreign people bad. And they just blurt it out. And like the guy who he heard could have been it could have been the same kind of person that you see like when something happens in a small town and they go out there and they interview somebody on the news and you're like, oh God, They found,
and you know who it is. They found so-and-so.
Or you just look at the person.
Same person who posted every community Facebook group.
Or you just see the person and you're like, this person is not indicative of this community. And that's who the interview.
They found Uncle Chester.
I was going to say, if he was trying to like win liberal votes, he should have said they're eating houseplants, because then you could have got some people upset.
Once again, if it turns out the Haitians are just killing Canadian geese, then election.
I'm going to hire them.
You give them a tax abatement.
And here's the problem: is we're going to have a lot of dehomed dogs because the ones that run the geese away will have no use anymore.
Governor Mike DeWine,
it's a full circle.
Governor Mike DeWine of Ohio apparently also has some connections to the Haitian community where he was in it. All these guys, a lot of Midwesterners back in the 80s and 90s were missionaries to Haiti. My church I grew up in used to have Haitian missionaries as well. Mike DeWine has a connection to the Haitian population, and they have directed $2.5 million of Ohio state funds into additional translators for the community, additional staff at the hospital, because it was creating a massive strain on the hospital. A lot more calls that they had. The police are saying that they haven't had a notable uptick in crime over the last few years. They haven't noticed that, but the hospital has been dealing with issues. And I guess St. Vincent de Paul, which is a Catholic charity, has been helping out significantly as well. So a little private sector help. Back to the debate, Sean. Harris wouldn't say if she had ever met Vladimir Putin, which I thought was weird.
That was interesting.
She wouldn't. So, which makes me think that she had like some clandestine meetings she didn't want to admit to.
She was a little cagey about that. I don't know. Don't show all your cards, I guess, in that regard, as far as negotiations with someone of that stature on the foreign scene. I don't know.
It's a binary question. Have you met this person? Yes or no?
Yeah.
The only reason you wouldn't say that is if you did. It was like a
if
weird,
it's no, then it's no.
It was like it didn't happen because it was in a basement of a place if it's in Colombia.
Yeah. If you're trying to negotiate these sort of maybe some sort of peace deal with Ukraine and Russia that fell apart, but you want to keep it under wraps still because it may still be live. I don't know. That's the only thing I can come up with as to the basis of her answer.
Clearly means she's entwined with Russia.
Because
that's what the left would have said about Trump. Yeah. That's the counter argument is, well, he didn't say no.
Yeah. She's funding both sides of the war.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
paying for the Ukrainians, they're paying for the Russians. It's Raytheon.
Yes,
they're definitely
Raytheon is benefiting.
They're definitely paying for the Ukrainians, and I know that she's on that side of things, and but at the same time, it was a strange response to that question. I just thought it was interesting where she said, "I think that Putin would eat Trump for lunch or whatever." I didn't know such a guy could be eaten. He's a big fella.
It's a lot of lunches.
He's a lot of. He could.
I would be a lot of lunches. He would be multiple.
You could
lunches.
save him all week for lunches.
You could feed
half of a Haitian. You could feed all the Springfield
entire Haitian community.
All Springfield
for 2 to 3 meals.
You feed the cats, the dogs, and the Haitians.
Cannibalism on Boss Hog of Liberty tonight, 8:08 p.m.
There's another thing from so it's not that I didn't watch the debate. So I tried to clarify this with Sean earlier. I was at a brewery that had closed, and they turned the debate on.
So he's there after closing.
Yeah,
at the brewery. Draw your own conclusions.
They don't throw you out because you just come with the building.
Sometimes, but
was this brewery in Henry County, or it's another place Sean can't help you?
Just slightly west of. Henry
I would
County.
Travel there mostly because I like to go to that brewery too, but I don't stay there after closing.
Slightly west of Nicetown. Just barely, about 10 miles.
Just barely,
yeah. So anyways,
sounds sounds very oaky.
It does. But anyways, the one thing I did, I remember hearing the cat sing. Went to use the restroom, and I heard the cat sing, and I was just, what the fuck is going on? But there was a point where I was sitting there.
3 years in, the truth starts to come out with the man.
It was on TV. And there was a part where Kamala was talking about, I'm going to reverse Roe v. Wade. I'm like, you won't. And he goes, you won't get the votes for it. And I was trying to explain. I was like, she can't. She's not. And then he's like, you can't get the votes for it. And I was like, yeah. Like, that was the only thing he said that night that made sense. And because it's, again, I was like, if you think you can, you're emotionally charged. I was like, Supreme Court has made their decision.
Yeah.
You are for now until the Supreme Court changes.
Yeah, you're basically talking about like a amendment to the Constitution.
Yeah.
At that point, and so yeah, she won't have the votes for a constitutional amendment.
Yeah.
Under even their dream scenario,
exactly,
never be able to get there.
Never, and that was like he was like, you'll never be able to get the votes for it. I was like, yes, and that people were like, why can't they? I'm like, Supreme Court made their decision. Like,
you're gonna have to amend the Constitution at this
like,
point.
There are 6 votes that are not changing.
Yeah,
and probably not going to have any of those seats going away.
And it's not that I'm like saying I'm for or against it. I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Like, don't use
pragmatically.
Kamala should not be using that as. Instead, she should be talking about the truth. Is we really have to think about this problem because we don't have. You can't just elect me and we fix it. It's just not going to happen.
The biggest failing of as far as from the Democrat perspective, the Biden administration is the reversal of Roe v. Wade, because it happened under his watch.
Right.
And I know it was a Republican, Supreme
stacked
Court.
Cards, yeah.
They got the stacked deck already, but Trump did that.
Yeah.
Trump stacked the deck and then they did it and they accomplished their goal that has been their stated goal from the beginning about Roe v. Wade.
Three Supreme Court appointments in a 4-year term.
It's incredible. That is
like the biggest baller move.
And I think I've said this before on this podcast, is that his biggest legacy is going to be the federal judiciary Supreme Court. It's not going to be whatever he does or tax
Comey
cuts.
Barrett, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh,
and it's going to be in below that
and the other federal appointees,
the appellate courts and things like that. So that's where he really
just altered the landscape for America for a long time.
If 5 guys are going to talk about abortion, I need to know what Bones just poured me.
I'm not, I know you didn't put it. I was like, that might be why you didn't put it on here, but it was the one thing that he said that night where he actually was correct. And I think like everybody else is fueled by emotion. It was like, no, we can change. I'm like, no, it would take, it's moving a mountain at that point. And you're dealing with state rights. So like Kamala needs to just say, hey, this is our landscape. We have now you need to deal with your states and you need to make sure that you're electing people.
Yeah, well, it's if the will of the people is, explain this to me really quickly. What's in the bottles? This is special.
This is a rum from Barbados, 10-year-old rum that has been finished in Pappy Van Winkle bought.
Now, Pappy, I know from Netflix, is very difficult to obtain.
It is.
Unless you work there and you steal the barrels.
Supposedly. Allegedly.
There's a Netflix special all about it.
Doesn't mean it's true.
I saw it on TV.
I saw cats and dogs on TV too.
So this is going to be rum, but it's going to have a whiskey finish.
Yeah.
Sean, do you want to try this at all?
I'll take it. It's delightful.
Zach, do you want to guess the proof of what gasoline he's serving me?
Oh, I have no
Jesse's
idea.
left the room.
He doesn't like alcohol, so he shouldn't be allowed to have any.
Bones hits my glass.
Thank you.
The one place not to go with it, he goes straight into mine.
No, he's very kind to share.
Got a Barbados hug on the start, combined with a Kentucky hug.
Oh wow.
Zach, you may have to talk for just a moment as we do this part.
It's very interesting. I probably should have watched the debate, but I didn't feel like being
I
frustrated.
don't think you missed anything. I missed it.
Yeah, I did.
It's very hot. The Barbados rum is very. The proof is like 3,000.
No, it's only.
That is intense. That is really good though.
114.
Yeah. Jesse, do you want some 114 proof rum? Of course he does. Now
I mean, pour
I
it.
got that down.
Got a glass.
I was looking for it earlier.
It's got the number 1 on it.
Put it in the cheese.
We're still doing a show. So as Jesse's doing that, if the Harris campaign really wants to make a change and they want to make abortion a national policy change, then yeah, they have to win some congressional seats over too.
Yeah, they have to do that.
You need to have enough seats that are reliably going to be involved, or have enough Republicans that are scared to death that they're going to lose their jobs in safe Republican seats, because it is so universally a big deal that you will have people vote for a constitutional amendment.
Yeah.
As I had the conversation, I defer, now that I'm a married man, I defer to Sarah on this issue a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Because Harris had, her claim was, you have people that are going to be sitting in a hospital, an emergency room, that are going to bleed out in their cars because they're not going to get medical attention.
Right.
I said, is that legitimate? Like, you're supposed to treat the person in front of you. Yeah. If they are concerned that they're going to be litigious, to do an abortion because somebody's losing a baby, they're going to withhold medical treatment, and you could actually have the life of the mother die.
I think that there's some oddity and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but like whether it's medically done or not, whether it happens naturally or is done as a medical procedure to initiate it, medically it's just called, like, if a woman has a miscarriage, it's considered a spontaneous abortion medically.
Right.
And so you could have that gray area, and then you get into the thing where, like, our attorney general is very eager to wield his control and to be able to look through, sift through, search, and have access to people's medical records in order to enforce these laws. And I think that's what's scaring people, is that you have there's certain people in the government that want to be able to go find these people that have these procedures, and whether it's relevant or not, or what the situation was, they don't care. They're just looking for, like, he wanted to go find the 10-year-old girl that came here.
Yes.
And he wanted to go after the doctor and all sort of stuff. And like, that was one of those clear situations. Like, wait a minute. This can't be the kind of situation that we're actually dealing with. Like, you want to justify a 10-year-old girl having a kid that was obviously not her choice. She was sexually assaulted and all this stuff. He's going to that extent. So you have a woman that's got just a medical thing going that could risk her life. That's the situation where the government stepping in, at least could dragging things out, could result in a woman losing her life or having some kind of horrible issue because of it.
Here is where this issue, I think, politically, even in very red states, may be more of an issue than we have realized or have discounted. Abdul Hakim Shabazz, IndyPolitics.org, today published a story that says that there's a poll that has come out. He doesn't state who the poll is, but it gives the percentage of 600 Indiana likely voters. I guess it was okay. This poll was done by Destiny Will's campaign, who is running against Todd Rokita. Her polling that she released says that Rokita is at 44%, Wells is at 41%, and 13% are undecided. In Indiana, 2% said other. So Todd Rokita, in a 55% Republican state, is underperforming by 10% of the baseline number, and he's within 3% of Destiny Wells right now. Obviously, that was the number, plus the margin of error is plus or minus 4%. The same poll shows Trump winning Indiana 52-42 as of right now. And the third piece is that they also polled the governor's race, and they show Mike Braun 41%, McCormick 39%, and Don Rainwater at 9%.
Wow.
11% undecided as of right now.
That's tight.
So it's a hell of a lot tighter than folks expected.
Yeah.
That's obviously a Democrat paid for poll. Take that for what it's worth. And Abdul's people are going to be doing a poll as well. But even when you pay for a poll, you still use a somewhat reputable third party that does the polling for you.
Right.
But I think Rokita has a lot of egg on his face around that abortion issue, which I think maybe does give some credence to the conversation we're having here of, even in a very red state, there are a lot of wives and there are a lot of women and guys that are listening that say, yes, I'm pro-life, but we can't be back alley abortion, risking women's lives situation.
Or just being so vicious in your way of going about it, which, like, Rokita is just like, he's obviously just looking for press. He's going at things that's just like,
he wants to be the next governor after Braun.
He's constantly,
whoever.
and just like, if you support him, I guess, then you probably love him. But like, I sit back, I'm like, this guy is like kind of a clown and is kind of like an embarrassment to the state, because he's made border issues a big deal. It's like, we're closer to the Canadian border than we are the Mexican border. But when you're sitting,
Buffalo 0, Miami 0.
But when you're setting up situations where the government stepping in could impact women who are trying to do nothing illegal, there's nothing illegal about what they're doing, but you're gonna muck it all up because it's such a nuanced issue, and they don't care about the nuance. They just kind of make everybody out to be a villain. Then I think people are kind of sitting back and seeing that there's a potential for things to kind of go wrong, very wrong, and then the wrong woman gets permanently hurt or passes away, and then it'll get ugly quick.
Yeah. I think the other thing is, and I'm not trying to talk about this all night, but there are a lot of right-wing women who are pro-abortion. Like, it's understated actually how many there are. And from my friends,
conservative women.
There are conservative women who are very pro-abortion.
Absolutely.
And what I'm annoyed by is that, like, my friends on the left don't understand that. I'm like, no, like, I know that the power went back to the states, and some see that as a loss, some see it as a victory. But it's like, at least now it's controllable. And what sucks is that in these like very polarizing situations, it literally makes people leave. And like, if you leave, this place will always be the counter to what you believe. Mm. If you stay and plant your roots and grow and bring people up, you change the entire landscape of this world. So to me, like, when people are like, well, I'm leaving, I'm like, well, you're giving up. Like, I understand you need it today, right? Like, it is what I understand that, but it's like, go and then come back and then raise them here and then change the landscape.
Yeah.
But
when you have, and Harris made this point too, and then we're gonna move on because we can only take so much fun for a night. But Harris,
can we talk more about abortion?
That's why it wasn't in the notes, Jesse.
It wasn't in the notes.
Harris made the point that you got people that have one or two jobs.
Yeah.
Maybe that, they don't necessarily have healthcare access anyway. And now they're having to go out. They live in a state where they can't have that performed. So they're having to travel hundreds or thousands of miles, getting on an airplane, traveling, doing that. It is a massive burden. While yes, maybe you live in Alabama and you can't get an abortion and you could legally travel to Minnesota and get it done. Good luck on the flight or the ride. It's a hell of a burden, a barrier to entry.
It's definitely a burden, and there's going to be organizations, and I'm not sure how that's going to work with state laws, but I guess my biggest thing is, like, there's two things came out of it for me was, like, don't leave, like, go deal with yourself and figure it out, whatever, get it taken care of, but come back and raise people so that your landscape changes, your political landscape will change. If not, you're just if everyone leaves for all the polarizing issues, you're going to leave a hole of some very toxic assholes, and it's going to suck. And it's like, I don't want that. And, but I guess the other part was, in the actual debate was that Kamala came off as like, oh, I'm going to change it. And Trump was very much like, you can't. And I would very much agree with him, despite me not liking the guy too much. Was like, yeah,
the pragmatism was there. That it's
and she needs to be more pragmatic,
something heroic.
Yeah, she needs to be more pragmatic in her messaging. You elect me, and we're going to do what we can to make sure that we can help you change what's going on in your state. Like, or something like that. Like,
but if you run as the change candidate, nobody runs as the pragmatic change candidate.
No, I know.
Nobody's
just saying,
like, I'm that screwdriver that's going to turn that screw. They're like, I am going to transform this country, and that's the way Obama ran his narrative. That's the way George W. Bush ran his campaign. They all run as these change candidates, and that's the way Trump ran. I'm going to make America great again. All that stuff. So for her to be like, well, I can't really do that much, and we're going to kind of suck, but it's going to be a little bit better marginally for some of these people. Everybody else could be kind of the same. Like, that's not a winning message for her. So I get why she's like swinging for the fences.
So it's not a winning message for her.
Is she going to achieve returning Roe v. Wade, back to? I don't think legally there's an avenue for that.
Correct, there isn't.
So as an attorney, I just don't really think there's like a way of getting there. But when you're a politician, you have to overpromise and underdeliver. And
where can you get it?
Well, in business or in law, we have to underpromise and overdeliver.
Right.
And so it's just totally a unique set of circumstances. So I think that for her to come out and say, I'm a pragmatist and I'm not going to be able to deliver anything for you people,
Zach,
why would you vote for her?
Zach, cue the sports.
That's funny. If she did it, I would actually vote for her at that time. I'm not going to vote for her now, but if she did, I'd be like, you know what? Actually, I support that. Now
I'm going to put a bow in the conversation by saying that the debate proved, first of all, only two of the names of the four that are going to appear on the Indiana ballot were available and on the stage. We desperately need ranked choice voting. Because Jesse, I don't know if Harris is going to get my vote, but I know that Trump would be the third or fourth on my ballot. Right? I'm voting for Oliver or Harris. January 6th was a bridge too far for me. Can't do it. I'm sorry. Like, it's a non-starter. Yeah, transition to power is like the fundamental of the country for me. None of the other stuff matters. That's my voting matrix. If we had ranked choice voting in Indiana and we said, hey, vote for president, who do you want number 1? Okay, cool. Chase Oliver. Who do you want number 2? Well, not Trump. So I'll go 2, Harris. 3, screw it, Kennedy, if he's still on the ballot. 4, Trump, right?
He's
Trump last, whatever.
He's already stepped out of the race.
I don't care. He's on the ballot.
He threw his brainworms.
There's a hell of a lot of people in the Republican primary that voted for Nikki Haley. 22% of Indiana.
I voted for her in the primary.
Yeah,
I think that
noted
year.
Republicans.
I voted for Haley in the primary.
Yeah. And I think there was like,
I'm a registered Republican.
I think, was that the one? There was like 37 of us that did. It was a pretty small number.
Whatever it was 22% of the state.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, but like we looked up the Henry County.
Like,
and in Henry County, it was like a handful of people, and like Dakota was one.
So be it.
I was like,
we could all fit in a room.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like we just can't keep doing this.
Well, but that's my point about the whole like running on a overselling, or like, that's my point is if someone came in very pragmatic, it would be like a breath of fresh air.
It might be depressing to people too.
Well, fuck them. Like they're the reason we're in the problem we're in. That's my problem.
Ross Perot was a pragmatist,
right? And he did a goddamn good job.
And he did a great job as third party. He didn't win.
Yeah, no, but you know what he did? He changed the landscape, and the Commission on Presidential Debates came out.
Yeah, and they wouldn't let him in anymore.
Yeah,
but he also dropped out and got back in the race. He shot himself in the foot.
That was because Bush threatened his daughter's wedding or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got really
I don't
pumped
think
about
I know this story.
I don't either, but
he said that like the Bush creeps were like, we're gonna ruin your daughter's wedding to say that. I think alleged she's a lesbian or something, and like
scandalous in 1992, folks.
Yeah, the smear campaign
happens every 3 minutes.
And then Perot's like, I'm gonna back down, and they're like, no, I'm not. I'm coming back in. It's crazy. I love Ross Perot.
This rum, Bones, is high octane. I'll tell you what.
He'll make you vote for Ross Perot. It's that strong.
Yeah,
Bones,
I've got Ross Perot growing on my chest all of a sudden.
Do you have anything else to add to this conversation? Ranked choice voting. Abortion.
Do you know what ranked choice voting is?
I do.
Okay, cool.
Did anybody order Pizza King?
No.
They were at the door.
It's probably for the apartment upstairs.
Oh, well, I sent them somewhere else.
I'm not paying for this.
Yes, I do know what ranked choice voting is.
What's funny is he's already sent them somewhere else, and he goes, we didn't. And I'd be like, yeah, actually I did. I wanted it to come in on the live. So. That's hilarious.
Perfect.
Anyway,
Sports Desk, Zach Burcham. IndyCar is going to try to crown a champion this weekend.
I'm going to try.
In the face of, I believe, Alexander Rossi used a 4-letter word to refer to Francis.
Yeah, there's a long bleep.
It may have sounded like hunt or truck. I don't know which one. But one of those two words that Francis was being a real whatever.
I hope it's more on the hunt side of things because we need it more in American language.
We're going to crown a champion, Alexander Palou.
Just moving on by that.
Yeah. Fine. Fuck me.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I hope they
we just did 15 minutes on abortion. Could you sit in timeout for 20 seconds? 20 seconds.
So rum talking.
He blew out our 8 o'clock rule too.
DJ Will Power looking for the championship. Scott McLaughlin trying to give food poisoning to Alex Palou by offering him bad sushi on Twitter.
I've seen
to get him to not run the race.
Yeah, I've seen it other places, but yeah, I've seen it. He's been like, "Hey, let's go for a motorcycle ride. Hey, let's get some sushi." And he talked about locking him in a porta potty, I think, or something like that before the race.
So this badly needed rain that we're getting is going to land exactly at the moment that IndyCar is trying to have their series championship on the streets of an oval 40 minutes outside Nashville. The race that was supposed to happen on Broadway is on the big oval.
And they could, I mean, not if it's a full-on tropical storm, but they could run it in the rain on the streets. But yeah, I almost wonder if it wouldn't be, except there's Monday Night Football too, if it got pushed to Monday just for the TV window. But they probably would stick it.
They'd probably put on CNBC.
CNBC then or something.
And that would be the end of it.
But yeah,
So my wonderful wife Sarah and I had a hotel room, and we considered going, and my sister's turning 30 this weekend instead, so we're not going. Now that there's a tropical storm, I'm pretty darn happy. The race is supposed to happen at 3:00 Eastern time, which should probably get over around 7, and then you got a 5-hour drive back. If they're going to be out there with jet dryers and they say we have lights, we'll go as late as we need to. This race may run at midnight, finish at 2 a.m, 3 a.m. I would be getting home at 8 a.m. and then trying to go to work on Monday. It sounds miserable.
That's when you call in. There's weather.
Yeah, as if they don't know where
vision
I'm at.
problems.
I would just say, I have
You're on a
PTO.
podcast. That's your problem.
Yeah.
You've broadcasted what your plans are.
I would just say,
I
it's
think people
PTO.
listen to
I can
this.
do whatever I want.
Yeah.
It's
I'll
none of your
burn
business.
vacation days for that stuff.
I think he blows that in May.
Honestly, I only need 4 vacation days for May. That's all I do.
Because Memorial Day falls on the
Yeah, it's a miracle. And I work one of the days.
Quote unquote.
I am working with customers. It's just a good salesman sells his customers on his sport.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's fun. Any predictions, Zach? Is
No.
there any way Polo loses the race or loses the championship?
Yeah, well, I think that can happen. I don't think it's very likely, but he could get wrecked. It's an oval that nobody did like what they said, like 6 drivers have been on this year for testing. Like not a lot of drivers have been on it. Nobody else has been on it for like 13 years or whatever, pre-DW12. So yeah, ovals are the most random. So if he has a better chance of losing the race at this race than if it would have been on the streets of Nashville.
Why are they not putting it on the streets? Is it because of the rain?
Construction or whatever.
So the Tennessee Titans are building a new stadium.
Sure.
The Titans were.
They're a
promoter.
brand new team, but okay.
They've been there since 1999.
That's brand new in my book.
So they built Nissan. They built Nissan
Millennial.
Stadium.
Jesse remembers when there wasn't a Tennessee Titans, therefore it's a new team.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. It
Jesse's
sounds like
reached that age.
they were the Oilers when I was growing up or something.
Look at this man with his sports knowledge.
It's been 25 years. And he's like, that sounds like a brand new whippersnapper team to me. Like, yeah.
So the Titans are building a new stadium.
Sure.
And the parking lot that they ran a lot of the race in and had the paddock in, they said, we need that for the stadium.
Yeah, they can't just reroute it a couple blocks.
So they said, hey, let's reroute it a couple blocks over. And then they actually looked at a map and said, uh-oh, this ain't going to work. So instead of canceling the race and just not having the event, they moved it to the oval that already exists. It's like 40 minutes outside of town. 11.
So they're just literally going to drive in circles.
It's called an oval.
That's
Yes.
what they do.
Left-hand turns.
Yep. Left. And we turn left again. And we turn left again. And we turn left again. They haven't used this racetrack for IndyCar since 2008. So there's only 3 drivers.
It sounds like they need to build a new track.
IndyCar is really good at running on old tracks.
I'm just saying.
Historic tracks are actually.
It's only 7 years older than the football team they're building a new football stadium for. That's all I'm saying.
7 years ago.
That's the last time they ran there. The track's been there longer.
Yeah. NASCAR Cup Series runs there now. It's in fine condition.
Okay.
Concrete.
I was
nice-
hoping. I just hope it was filled with weeds and bumps.
That was the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 1942. All right. So yeah, that's the story, and that'll be the end of the IndyCar season. So if you're one of our wall fantasy IndyCar guys, make your picks. Get in tomorrow. 27 cars, one last run, and do whatever you can to keep Chris Gall from winning the championship.
Is IndyCar becoming more like F1 all of a sudden, or no?
On account of the engines and the tires.
I just remember F1 as like whoever had the most money wins. Is IndyCar kind of morphing into that, or is it?
IndyCar has
because the appeal to IndyCar was that it wasn't as predictable, but it seems like you guys are like Palu or whatever.
well, so it's a season-long championship. They
Sure.
run 17 races, and there are 2 people that are mathematically eligible for the championship still.
Gotcha.
So those 2 people, it's
They're-
essentially the Super Bowl. They've
they
got
are
the
from the-
playoffs, and they're down to the end.
Yeah, they are from the 2 biggest teams.
There are 4 teams that have won races this year, and I think F1 is probably about the same. Actually, Red
F1's
Bull,
actually had a
Ferrari,
decent season this year.
McLaren, and Williams. Is Williams or Mercedes?
Oh,
Mercedes is one.
I think maybe. I don't know. I haven't watched much F1.
Yeah, I think at least 4. It's probably about the same.
But that's what I'm saying. Does
As
it
far
seem
as
like
the number
IndyCar
of
is becoming
constructors.
more like predictable and like money matters again, where IndyCar money didn't matter as much?
It's still a spec series, but there are a few smaller teams that have better opportunities to win and have been on the rise. Like there's a few teams that wouldn't be surprising if they won. If Rahal Letterman won, it'd be a surprise this weekend. But if Ed Carpenter Racing, AJ Foyt Racing, or Meyer Shank Racing won, I would not be shocked this weekend. Zach, is that appropriate?
No, yeah.
Malukas, Santino, Ferrucci, or Renus VK, any one of those three could win.
Yeah. I don't know about VK might be the farthest stretch because that team just hasn't had much going on ovals, but he's pretty good. And then you have the randomness of it being a new track to most of the teams and stuff. And so some of them have had a team or two, but then Hinch and Rossi's podcast, they're doing 2-tire compounds, which is normally a road and street course thing. And apparently they were told about that about 45 minutes before the press release or the story went out, saying that. So they have some that could throw a wrench in some stuff. So yeah, it's as unpredictable.
All of the possible variables.
Yeah.
How many teams won F1 races this year? Did you find them out?
I'm trying to look. It's actually really hard to get that to year.
Well, you're working on that. We have NFL news. Two things. The Colts started their season. I think we predicted them to lose.
Let's go.
They have not won. This is a weird stat. They have not won game 1 11 years in a row now.
It makes no sense.
They have 10 losses and a tie because Frank Reich had a tie.
It truly makes the tie is truly Frank Reich level, but the fact they haven't won in 11 years
in over a decade. There's no player
it's just
on the
a
team
snake bit
that has
thing.
won the first game of the year.
I was there. I had a couple of years watching Andrew Luck, the opening game of the year, and it's like this is our year, and then slow start. But
the year we won the Super Bowl, did we win the first game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, there we go.
But
when we won the Super Bowl, the Tennessee Titans were only 7 years old.
Yeah.
My point exactly.
No, Richardson looked good. Like he missed like one throw for a touchdown, and then he threw a pick. You take those two throws back, that's like a 10-point swing. And I know you could say that about anybody, but that was as far as a 29-27 loss. That's as positive as I felt about a Colts fan about a loss in about a while. And
we actually looked pretty good.
Richard, he threw that dime 65 yards off his back foot to Pierce.
Incredible thing I've ever seen.
I've never seen a better throw by any Colts quarterback I've ever watched.
Yeah.
So
that was impressive.
Just his arm strength and being able to do that. He's got the capability. I believe in him.
I think Pizza might be back.
I think that Pizza King's going to be back. Jonathan Taylor's going to be back.
Put Jonathan door over there.
Put Jonathan Taylor in your fantasy team right now because he's going to run all over the Packers. Go Colts.
We're playing the Green Bay Packers,
Colts,
who don't have their quarterback.
Yes.
So
finally,
Jordan Love is injured. Aaron Rodgers plays for the Jets.
I have no sympathy for any team that loses their quarterback because we've lost Andrew Luck. We lost Anthony Richardson after like 3 games last year. It's the business. So give them the business. Just stomp on them. Let's go.
Over under, is Richardson going to play 11 games this year?
Over.
He's going to play over 11?
I think over. Yeah, I think he's going to stay healthy. There were really fluky things that happened to him last year that were just really weird. And he's young. He's strong. He's built like a freaking. He's built like Josh Allen. We're watching on the Prime. And really for Colts fans, best case scenario, he's a Josh Allen.
The Haitian Josh Allen.
He's
fueled by dogs and cats.
Yep. He's Josh Allen 2.0. Like he can run, he can bowl people over. I'm a huge fan of Anthony Richardson. Let's go Colts.
Bones 11 plus or minus 11 wins or 11 starts for Peterson.
I'll take the over.
For Richardson.
I'll take the over.
Take the over?
Yeah.
All right. Zach, you have no opinion at all.
Nope.
This is just like last week where we have IndyCar talk, we have NFL talk.
The question is wins for this team.
Oh, God. 9.
I'm thinking like
9.
Like 11 is the ceiling. I think 8 is the floor.
I think 9 wins.
9's right there.
Jesse is
on 27 over.
Is Richardson going to start 11 games more or less?
11 games more or less of what?
Is he going to start? There's 17 games.
17 games total. He started 1.
He started
10
so
more out of 17 or out of 16.
How many games did he play last year?
3.
Yeah. He got hurt.
He separated his shoulder. And
he got hurt twice last year.
Yeah.
He's going to play. He's going to start 12 games.
At least 12.
That's just
All right. I
multiplied
think it's
by
under.
4.
The man's only played like 20 football games ever.
You don't believe.
You're
a non-believer.
I saw the way he ran with reckless abandon.
I know.
At
That's
the end,
why he's
in the
awesome.
in the fourth quarter.
Because
And I thought, this is wonderful. But those are $50 million linebackers flying at the man.
He wants to win. He's
I remember
bigger than
Andrew
those
Luck's
guys.
bleeding from his spleen.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have an offensive line like Richardson does. He didn't have Quentin Nelson. He didn't have Kelly. He didn't have Braden Smith.
Those guys aren't blocking for you when you run off tackle and you're at the goal line and you're taking a shot.
I just say put
Luck got the crap beat up because he had to pass protection.
Right.
Like Richardson's getting beat up because he's just running.
You
asked
Bones another question. What was the other question? There's like,
what about wins? What are you saying about wins?
Wait, I don't think that was the question.
I said 9 wins. Sean said 8. He gave a range of 11 to
8
11
is
to
the
8.
floor, 11 is the ceiling.
See, I think 7's the floor. 7's the floor. 12. I think I see 12
range.
wins.
A lot more variant.
I got 12 wins.
I think the floor is 10 and the ceiling is 11.
Bones, you don't want to just say they're going to have between 16 and 1 wins this year?
Nope.
Just like I don't want to turn Pizza King away again.
Zach, any thoughts at all on the NFL?
No,
Come on. I don't either. Just throw numbers out. Nobody
No.
gives a shit. Like,
they make a lot of money.
We're gonna keep track of this, and we will.
I was going to say,
There will be punishments. For
I wish
people
there was
who
the
are
end of
wrong.
the season and I said that the floor is 10 and the ceiling is 11. And if they were like in there, I'm like,
They got 10 wins. And
I'm a
tie.
prophet at that point.
Sean, you're going to put your legal hat on for a moment. We're not going to pay you for it.
You never do.
Before listen,
Continue.
but I have referred business to you.
I appreciate it.
What's the phone number?
The phone number 765-529-3787, Galleon Rail office.
This man
Call me
got
for all your legal needs.
this man got somebody out of jail for Christmas once on a referral for me.
I did.
You did,
I
yeah.
did. I remember that now. Yeah, I did.
Look at the
Wow.
smile on his face.
It just it's not present in mind because I've been working since
long
like
time.
7:30 this morning. So yeah.
Tyreek Hill,
Yeah.
wide receiver for the
Miami
Florida
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. Yes.
He
Laces out.
He got himself Dan Marino was just on the screen a moment ago. He got himself detained
Mhm.
before the game last week. Before game one.
Aggressively
I
detained.
said, he got himself
Yeah,
detained.
he got himself detained.
Aggressively detained.
So he was driving some sort of a supercar
McLaren.
on the
Looked
way
like
to
a
the
McLaren.
McLaren.
Black
Another McLaren
Yeah,
reference.
Black McLaren.
I don't know why it wasn't papaya. If I had a McLaren, it's going to be papaya.
You know, you don't see a lot of papaya actually.
It's papaya fruit.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it's also
the official.
orange.
It's also McLaren's official racing colors, papaya orange.
So that's the best thing Zach Brown ever did was changing the back to papaya instead of the Vodafone silver. All right, back to football.
Yeah.
Whose ball? Tyreek Hill is
Mhm.
stopped for speeding,
Yes.
allegedly.
Hard to not do
Right.
a McLaren.
And then he's approached by the officer from whatever local police department.
Probably Dade County.
And he's told, why don't you have your seatbelt on? And then Tyreek Hill essentially doesn't want to roll his window down and have a normal police stop.
Mhm.
What happened next? And how should we interpret it? Because the video gets released, drops onto social media, and then everybody goes to their corners and picks their side and says, thin blue line, guy should have been respectful. What should I actually look at and say, hey, this is what should have happened, and how things could have been handled better?
So it's clear that he was upset about the police officer banging on his window on the McLaren, and which is, I presume, I don't even know what that car would go for.
We'll check with Zach.
I'll be honest. I can't tell you which one it was because all McLarens kind of look the same. They're all based off a single chassis, but it's between $200,000 and $500,000.
So you're talking about $500,000 car potentially, which he's Tyreek Hill. He can afford it. And he's like, don't hit my window that hard. And the cop keeps banging on the window, and it irritates him because it's a $500,000 car. And the fact the police officer can identify him as Tyreek Hill, who is a star for the Miami Dolphins, that's another problem. He shouldn't get any different treatment than anybody else, but say, I understand who you are. Let's try to write you a ticket. Let's whatever. To detain him out of the car on the ground, I feel like that is excessive as a defense attorney. I feel like, he could have some some level of some civil case against the authorities there, but that's for them to decide. But generally speaking, if the police officer is trying to execute a infraction, trying to give you a warning, you're not rolling your window down and you're, say, not all of us drive McLaren. I don't. A McLaren.
I've been
I can't
allowed,
say it right.
I've been allowed.
It's so expensive a car. I can't even
I've been
pronounce
allowed
it correctly.
near a McLaren F1, but didn't touch it because I have restraint.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to roll the window down, just execute finish the whole thing about the seatbelt violation, whatever. Move on with your day.
Hill essentially said, "Just give me my ticket and leave me alone."
He did say that, and then
I think he called him
police didn't
bro
like that
or bud or something non-respectful.
They call him a pig.
And again, like, you're not legally required to be respectful to police, but
it definitely does.
A pragmatic point.
It definitely pays off.
Seem like it does pay off. Just from a pragmatic standpoint, it pays off. Are you constitutionally required to be nice to the police now?
It's a business decision to get through the transaction so you can go do your job at football.
How can I end this transaction as quickly as possible? And how to do that is to be transparent, roll it down your window, take the seatbelt ticket, move on with the day.
You want to fight it later, whatever.
Yeah.
But for them to pull him out and put him on the ground, I thought that was it was so excessive. I just don't feel like that was.
They felt like they weren't being respected, so they wanted to get control.
Necessary. And then he's down on the ground in front of all these fans watching him. It's like,
because it's the road into the stadium.
Yeah, it's right there.
What's also funny is because now, like, football's.
And to be clear, he's not a good guy. Like, he's been alleged to battered his wife and kid and all that stuff. I'm not trying to.
He's a really good
person. I'm talking about that situation.
He's really good at playing football.
He's really fast.
Alleged. I was just trying to say that clearly the cops don't like the Dolphins. Because like they're like, hey, we're gonna make you late. It's like, why are you making me late to the game? Like,
I'm their best player.
But also they might have money against them, What if you have the whole racket of the cops are like, oh, we'll just start arresting football players so they can't make it to the game so that we start winning money. How about that?
Oh, now
that's a conspiracy.
Fixing games.
Hey.
He still played though.
No, I know. They didn't hold him long
Not only
enough.
did he play, he scored a touchdown, and then he did his touchdown celebration, and he put his arms behind his back and pretended to be cuffed in the end zone.
Yeah,
perfect.
I find it similar to
Jesse's going to buy a Tyreek Hill jersey.
The Scotty Scheffler situation.
Scotty Scheffler was in Louisville.
Yeah,
getting ready to play at the big golf tournament there at
Valhalla
on the east side of Louisville, and he didn't obey police orders and got himself arrested on the way into.
I find a lot of similarities other than the fact he wasn't arrested. So
to be fair, a lot of us get pulled over on the way to work, so it is what it is.
Like, you and Sean are just. I'm amazed that you haven't like had a professional relationship.
You haven't get arrested in Henry County. This whole thing.
I'm just saying
he'll work in Hancock County and Henry County. That's it.
Mostly Henry County.
Handcuff
County. I don't know.
I watched the video and I was kind of curious if it was standard procedure for them to have 4 motorcycle officers on one traffic stop.
They were all over him.
They were all. I mean, because the officer turns to the right, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, he's got like an entire parade squad behind him."
Once you decide you're getting into a tussle with a pro athlete, you probably want to get as many numbers as you can.
Tyreek's not a big guy though. Like, he's not a big, intimidating sort of figure.
I think he would whip any one of our asses individually.
Hands down.
Individually.
With or without handguns?
Without.
Well, we're not police officers, so maybe you should get the sheriff's department to do a poll here.
I will check. We got a big board meeting next week. Maybe I'll check with everybody.
I think our county deputies they use guns too.
You get yourself in a tussle with Tyreek Hill. How many guys you need on your side? Let's work our way into final thoughts. 7 points for Buffalo, 7 points for Miami as we watch now. Bones, Harcourt, did you prepare a final thoughts story? Did you want to talk about pennies, or
I
did
talk
about some other stuff?
So I was reading I wasn't reading the New York Times. I found the article on a podcast said that we are a slave to the penny.
Like, slave to the penny?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
The coin.
Yeah.
So I thought this was kind of interesting. So New York Times, sorry, I don't mean to be a socialist elite.
But
you were wearing a Tar Heel shirt, so we understand.
It's also funny that they wrote this article and they charge like something 99 for their subscription. But
it's weird. But evidently, we have 240 billion pennies.
Yeah,
not like just people just hold on to them.
Just
you don't spend
drawers.
pennies. When's the last time you spent a penny? Like an actual penny?
I can't tell you the last time I used a penny.
Yeah.
I hoard copper pennies, waiting for them to get rid of them so I can turn them in for cash.
That's the next big business adventure.
Well, the nickels are over half copper, so I'm just waiting.
Yeah, evidently we spend so much money making pennies and nickels that we don't make
millions
money.
of dollars. Yeah, we lose money.
It's going to be plastic someday.
It costs I don't know what the latest figure is, but it was like 2.5 cents to make 1 penny.
Yes. And I think it spends like 2.5 cents to make a quarter.
Yeah. Because they switched it to a alloy. It's more a nickel than it is anything else now.
So anyways, I thought this will be a great time. Let's get rid of the penny, make everything 0 or 5 price wise. Solve the problem.
Yeah. Canada did it. So
yeah, I had no idea. 10 years ago I did this.
Yeah. Yeah, because it costs, I can't remember if it's like tens of millions of dollars to produce the penny.
There's only 2 mints that do it. Philadelphia and Denver.
It seems like an easy way to put $50 towards something better.
Yeah.
Like $50 million, sorry. But and then just allow people who are holding on to those pre-1982 pennies like myself to allow myself to go up to the
playing
local
the long
scrapyard
game
and cash in on some copper. But
do you feel like Dogecoin or pennies are a better investment?
Doge for sure. I mean, it's worth more than a penny.
Why don't you go sell your pennies for Dogecoin?
Because I have the copper.
He wants to diversify his portfolio. Calm down.
Yes.
We're saving it for a rainy day.
Yeah. We're going to be spread out.
I don't want to dox you or anything because we haven't given you your home address, but how many pennies do you think you got at your house?
Ooh.
Like, are we talking, is there $100 in pennies at your home?
No.
A lot of pennies.
I bet
That's a lot
there's.
of pennies, man.
Let's be honest. There was that 10,000
To be
pennies.
a fact, it's
That's a lot of
10,000
pennies. They add up real fast. It's 10,000 pennies.
But 240 billion pennies out there in the world. That's what, 2.4 billion?
most of them are probably laying on the ground.
I honestly,
Fountains. They're in fountains.
honestly, a penny, the thing I would use pennies for, we have penny slots at a casino.
Not
If
anymore.
we actually could use the coins in the damn casino and put them in,
Yeah.
that would be the one place I'd be like, yeah, I'll go fuck these things. I'll just play with them. We'll just put pennies in the machine. Just casino pennies.
I just got like 3. I forget, for change, I got 3 brand new pennies. They were 2024s. And I was like, we're still doing this?
Yep.
I
And those cost, despite the fact they don't have copper, 2.1 cents to produce, or 2.4.
I barely use coins at all. I need quarters for the Elks Club for the daily drawing, and $1 for the weekly. So I try to have like 5 quarters when I walk in there, because I usually roll in maybe once a week. Have you guys even looked at quarters lately? Like, you go find just an Eagle quarter, it's hard to do.
Yeah, they don't have. They don't exist
They haven't
anymore.
made them forever.
No.
And I've lost track. I finally started looking this last week at some of the quarters we have. I don't even recognize them. I don't have the state. My eyes have gone to hell. But they don't have the state quarters anymore. It's just random ass things. So I totally don't understand our coin system.
The pennies now have like a crest on the back. They don't have the Lincoln Memorial anymore.
Yeah, it's a crest.
So
It
it's
just
crest.
says 1 cent with the shield or whatever.
The
Yeah.
shield, or something.
And they actually have different ones of those, I think, now too.
They're trying to make them collectible, I guess, for people to actually care.
Bones, what coins are you eliminating when we elect you emperor of the monetary system?
Pennies and nickels.
Pennies and nickels gone.
But
Zach,
here's
what are you getting rid of?
Yeah, probably pennies and nickels. You know, though, I wouldn't be bad about getting rid of dimes, just because dimes are like the smallest and the biggest pain in the butt. I like quarters because quarters seem to have like some kind of use. I still see a quarter. I'm like, that's worth
I
picking
still
up.
use quarters in like
Vending
laundry machine.
Yeah, and then like, man, if you get stuck going to like a arcade or something like that, but yeah, other than that, like,
Jesse, you're Mr. Digital. You don't want any money at all, right? You want to totally decouple us? You just want to meld it down for scrap?
no. So here's the thing: is that I would actually prefer that we move the dollar coins, but
We have dollar coins. You can use them if you want.
I know,
to.
but we don't live on dollar coins.
Well, you
we
could.
use dollars.
You don't. You choose not to.
It's very impractical because
well, okay. Wait, no, you can't have it both ways. I would prefer that we go to dollar coins. Why don't you? It's impractical. Okay.
It's impractical because they don't make enough of them.
Bullshit. You've got enough for your daily life.
No, I don't.
Now he's a
no. Listen,
fancy pants
listen.
McGee
You're talking
over
about
here.
you're talking about the quarters. You're like, we use quarters to go laundromat. Have you used laundromat? It's like $4. So now you put 16 quarters in, or you could put 4 coins. Just go boom, 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 done. Like the dollar coin makes way more sense than a quarter does.
I will challenge you.
And they probably last longer.
And
I will challenge you.
They're just better made.
Can you replace your coin usage with dollars for a month?
No, because the banks won't give them to me. So here's a funny thing.
Oh, now it's the banking system.
So here's something that's funny. So when one of my friends, quote unquote, went to Galapagos,
an associate,
a South American country, Ecuador, they use the $1 coin, U.S. currency, as their primary currency. I was like, and she came back. I was like, how do you have all these dollar coins? She goes, that's what they use. So
Canada uses loonies and toonies, ones and twos. They don't have that. They're coins.
Yeah, I know, but it's like if I could go out to the bar. Obviously, if I go to the bar, I need like $50. But like, if I'm going somewhere, and it would be
how are you doing this? Just coin purse? How are you carrying these?
Three coin purses,
a satchel,
3 coin purse. Well, pretty much. You remember when they used to pump our gas? Remember when they used to? You remember when they used to pump our gas? No. You remember when they pumped our
the
gas?
hip clip.
They
Yeah,
have a hip clip.
Yeah,
dude. We just go to the hip clip with bars. Like boom, boom, boom.
You got your coins on one side and your cell phone on the other, Grandpa.
Yeah, exactly.
Up there.
Yeah.
If you're using dollar coins, how many singles are you carrying with you at a time?
Pull out your wallet right now.
None.
Okay. I think you're trying to give you're like a limousine liberal trying to pass off your views on everybody else and says, look, you just want to be able to throw coins at homeless people on the side of the road. Instead of giving them $1, you want to throw coins at them out of the car.
I don't never see homeless people. I don't go to Indy anymore. But
he used to live up 2 blocks from here.
Well, he was telling me about somebody who was yelling at the jury today, or the jail, or somebody. But
wow, we've lost them.
Nope. But anyways,
the jury, the jail, the jail.
So listen, real quick,
the joint, the clink.
My whole thing is, I don't think I would ever have more than like 3 to 5, because the minute you get to 5, you're carrying paper again, because it's just singles. You're not carrying like $20 coins,
right?
I wouldn't mind. I did have a frustration a couple weekends ago where I was at a laundromat and it would not take my crisp $5 bill. So I had to go spend more money somewhere to get more cash to get it.
Would the machine not take it, or the change machine would take it?
The change machine would take it.
But that's what I'm saying. Imagine a change machine when you give it 5 and it gives you 5 quarter, like 5 side.
Or if I could get 5 coins,
Amazing.
and then they don't get.
The banks won't give you coins. If you go ask for your Sacagawea coins, you can't get them.
Absolutely not. They will not give them to you. If they have them, they might. But like, if you go in, I'm like, hey, I would like to take this $100 bill and get 100 Sacagaweas or whatever they are. They're like, no. We do not.
Aren't there certain? I always thought there were certain banks you could go to and you could say, "I want these," and they're like, "We can't get them today, but they can like order."
You can order them, but dude, if you order, like sometimes to order, like if you go on YouTube, right? There's like quarter hunters and dime hunters and penny hunters and all that. You have to order a shit ton, like boxes of them. And I'm like, I don't need boxes of. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I got boxes of things. It's like $2 bills. Sometimes I want $2 bills because they're fun. But it's not like, if you really wanted to use coins for like your system, like when I go out, I'm like, I just throw like 5 coins in my pocket and I have $5. That's cool. Or if I had $2,
I just don't believe that you can't find dollar coins.
Go to the bank.
We're gonna do an experiment.
Wow.
Do you come back next week with me? We'll do our independent research and come back and talk about next week.
Look about coins. Look about all the coins you can get and report back later.
Sean, what coins are you killing off? Any of them?
No, because I'm a Ron Paul diehard, and he would cry if he heard about you freaking socialists killing off our currency.
Goddamn gold standard.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ron Paul, he was the man back then.
So when we have Ron Paul's funeral,
I think it would be nice.
He will never die. So
that's when Sean will allow us to have.
We'll do a Viking funeral for him.
So I was going to tell you though, real quick, the dime went from 3.7 cents to produce to 5 cents to produce in 2022.
Yeah, but we use it more than once.
Sorry, I was just wanted to add that to context.
No,
Bones, are you done with your final thoughts?
I'm way
he's way done.
Zach, you got anything for me?
No, I don't.
How can we cheer on the mini Trojans this weekend?
Oh, they'll be at Randolph. Both teams will be at Randolph Southern this weekend for cross country. I think it races at like 8:30, 9:15, 10, and 10:45. High school first, middle school.
Do you have a makeup date if it rains?
We run the rain.
It's not gonna rain.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any rain in the forecast. The only thing they'll stop a race.
Cross country runs in the rain.
The only thing they'll stop a race for is lightning, and then it's 30 minutes. Then we're back out there.
Yep.
Jesse Riddle, final thoughts.
Yeah, the nickel.
He did the nickel already.
The nickel
Cut his
cost
mic.
10.4 cents to make, up 40.2% from 7.4 cents in 2020. So hold on to your nickels.
You have to have a dime to pay for a nickel.
It's weird, right?
So many coins.
You ever visited the Mint in D.C.?
No, I've never been to D.C.
You want to take a trip?
They don't let me in D.C.
I wouldn't doubt that there's a camera now that would flag Jesse's face as it rolled into D.C.
We've been monitoring.
Cannot allow this man in to see the nickels.
He'll try to take the nickels.
Do not allow him to see the nickels.
He needed to visit before all the cameras got put up.
Final thoughts. No final thoughts.
When can you come back on the show? I want to do this dollar experiment to call you out on your absolute bullshit.
He's calling you on the record.
Yeah, we are setting a note.
No, we could do it.
We are each going to go visit some banks and try to cash out. I need 20 coins.
Is
$20 bills.
Is it lower or higher wins? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out.
You said we can't. Just they won't do it. But you would prefer it. So we're gonna do
to prove it.
Bones is gonna check all of the Rushville banks. There's like 2 of them. He'll be done in 5 minutes.
There's like a Wells Fargo, and which is weird. They have a Wells Fargo there.
Oh, it's Wells Fargo anymore.
I think they went out. Yeah, you're right.
After the scandal, yeah.
First Financial and Northwest.
It was just weird they had a Wells Fargo. Yeah, we could do it. It's fine. We'll report. We can report back virtually. I'll call in.
No, I want you to. I want you to bring your dollars in.
All right.
Throw them out on the table.
I'm not doing.
What kind
I'm
of
not
dollar
doing with
bills?
a phone call, so you don't have to drive in.
What kind of dollars are we dealing with? Like Sacagaweas? So here's my thing though. So
I don't want you driving up to Silvertown up in Winchester.
No.
Just go to a bank and go get dollar coins.
Right. So I'm saying
and get told no.
In the Galapagos, they use like weird presidential coins. I don't even know if they're real currency.
Any legal tender.
Right.
Any legal tender.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
All right.
But you have to source it from a bank.
Yeah. I'm going to go to Barbados and maybe I'll spend them there because they use the American currency. They use the American
probably
dollar.
give you coins.
Sean Rao, don't you feel like this is a valuable use of your evening?
This has been Coin Talk, which is a cousin of Car Talk from NPR.
Which was better than the weather talk we had earlier.
Well, yeah, a little better than the weather talk. No, it's been a delight. Go Colts. We're going to have a lot of fun this season. If you need my legal services, you know where to find me. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys. This is a fantastic episode. Very excited we did it. We're back next Thursday, except for Zach, because he's off coaching young minds and melding them into little fugitives or whatever they're going to be.
Going to Connorsville and going to take my own water.
Please do roll your windows up.
Listen to Patreon for your own safety. I got nothing of note. I will tell you that I've been trying to figure out how to program the show over the next few weeks. Traditionally, this is the time of the year where we would have a hell of a lot of candidates coming through, and I just we generally focus on the local races. So I'm curious, and I would like to hear from the audience that's listening. Drop me a note, Jeremiah@ballsargovideo.com. If you want to hear from candidates, we can go through the effort of asking some of the congressional folks on and some of the higher level people where there are some contested races. But on the local side, the people that are on your ballot in the fall, there is not a single contested Democrat versus Republican or Libertarian in your county elections. So it's a little weird this year.
I'm gonna say I forgot that you talked about
because there are not races. So I don't necessarily know that we want to bring people through just to talk to them again because we already did. And we probably could go out and reach out to some other folks that are out there, but I want to hear from the audience. So I'm going to challenge the audience here and see what you guys think. And if you passionately want to do it, we will give you. We'll dance for you, and we will bring some people on.
We should get the dog catcher for Springfield, Ohio.
I told Jeremiah that we need to go to Springfield.
Yes.
Just do a
So
podcast.
this is what happened when I tried to confirm
location.
On
Location.
But we're going to film it, and we're going to try to find dogs and cats and be like, "Can you tell us? Have you lost any friends?"
He's the dog catcher / DoorDasher.
Jesse
straight to your door, from the streets to your door.
Yes, and now specializing in Chinese and Haitian food. That's what you're gonna hear. Yeah, Jesse, instead of confirming for tonight, he said you should just do your show from Springfield, Ohio.
That was because I thought that would be funner, like more fun, more fun.
Zach, could you bring all this stuff to Springfield, Ohio, and a little portable generator and maybe a Wi-Fi?
I have,
and we
got the portable generator, but Dakota's gonna have to pack it up in a mobile setup.
What happened? You used to have a little recorder. What happened to it? You still have it?
Yeah, it's all permanently built over there.
Your Zoom?
Oh, the Zoom's right here.
The Zoom's
yeah,
here.
that's all we need.
Yeah, video. All right. Thank you guys so very much for sticking with us. I think this was fun. I warned everybody this is going to be an unhinged mess.
90 minutes.
Unhinged mess. It was a nice tight 45, and then Jesse brought up abortion. Yes. We'll see you next week.
You're welcome.